Welcome into the Beat Sessions, a place for all things music. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. It's Friday, July 5th, and I really hope you all just took the day off and played hooky from work. Holiday yesterday, why not? Who doesn't like a good 4-day weekend? And I know many of you don't live stateside, so if that's the case, I hope Friday is treating you well and that you have some fun stuff lined up for the weekend. Let's kick things off this week with this brand new record from Kasabian entitled Happenings. This is studio album number 8 for the British outfit and their follow-up to 2022's The Alchemist, Euphoria, a fantastic record and a record that I really enjoyed reviewing for the channel. The band at that time really found themselves at an interesting crossroads, having to let go of their original lead singer, Tom. Serge Pizzorno decides to take up that lead. And why not? He's been the creative driving force behind the band. It made sense for him to step up and to continue this project. He talked about maybe shelving it, but there's this great little piece in the Apple Music article for The Alchemist Euphoria where he talks about, you can stay in harbor where it's safe, or you can get out on the boat. And, you may have to weather a storm or two, and it might not be the easiest route to take, but you never know what you're going to uncover versus staying on shore, staying in that safe zone. Yeah, it's an easy play, but is that really the way that any of us want to live our lives? So I love that record is focused on the idea of that challenge of venturing into new territory. It's something that we all face and we all have to do. And oftentimes it can be daunting, but it's great to have a band like this that makes albums that, are so exciting and they're so fun musically, but they're insightful as well. It's a great dynamic. The quality of the lyrical content with the exceptional music that they have. And what I'll say about their sound in general, but particularly on Happenings, this is a record that really seems to have a big pop drive. Now, their sound has always been very pop driven, but it's influenced by so many other things. There's times where it feels like you're at a rave with these guys. They'll tap into a great alternative rock sound. They can pick stuff up and really just run the gamut as far as genres are concerned. But they do it within that pop framework. And I argue that it's a difficult thing to execute. This particular record is hot. 10 songs, 28 minutes. There's very little wasted space. And I like that about this album. The Alchemist Euphoria, it's 38 minutes, so it's not like it's super long by any stretch. But that was an album where I feel like the guys were, obviously exploring emotions, exploring certain themes that were affecting them. Happenings feels like this band has moved into the new direction that they sought out to move into, and that they've hit their stride. This record is fantastic, and it's one of those albums that if I'm gonna give it any type of criticism, you really need to find yourself in the mood. The energy is full force. It's pretty much 28 minutes in your face, so it's definitely not a record that I would necessarily want to just throw on when I wake up and I'm making my morning coffee. But it's super fun. It's something that I'm definitely going to listen to tonight when I get out of work, when I close down the tiki bar. It's nice after 6 or 7 hours of bird noises and some of the weird stuff that we have to listen to at the bar to throw on some fresh rock and roll or whatever it might be that we want to indulge in. But I hope you check out this record. It's a hot listen to, like I said. So I in that regard, anything that hits that half-hour mark, it's just kind of like, why not give it a chance? But I think that you'll find this effort worthwhile and worth your time. It kicks off with Darkest Lullaby. Got this great driving bass and bass drum. And before we really get into the track listing, I just got to highlight Chris Edwards. Man, he's phenomenal work on this record. And I know that I'm biased as a bass player, but I just really feel like the bass licks on so many of these songs are full force. They're adventurous. They're really creative. And I just love that aspect of this record. But Darkest Lullaby, I really like that driving bass and bass drum. You get Serge coming in with the vocal, and then this song, it takes this quick turn and settles into a nice groove that hits throughout the remainder of the track. And again, the bass riff on this song, so exciting. You get fun disco elements, bright synths that are working in and out. It's a great way to lead off the record, and a great track that highlights, talking about all those influences that are driving sound. So much going on this song, and on all of these. And that's what I love. 3-minute compositions, but they can take a turn so quick. No wasted time, right? Call is your second track. Drums and simple bass are going to lead this thing off again, and it's just going to keep the momentum of this thing driving. Vocal out of the gate as well, but I love its immediacy. You get this pre-chorus that mellows out, and then it just explodes into a dance party in the chorus. Just really loving the hook and the energy in that part of the particular song. How Far Will You Go is your third track. Ups the tempo with this like electro punk feel. You just get lots of fuzzy guitar elements, fantastic bass element as well. There's a cool little breakdown with some back and forth guitar play that I really enjoyed. Phenomenal song there. Your fourth track, Coming Back to Me Good, is going to mellow things out. I was kind of like waiting for that moment. It's not super mellow by any means. I mean, it's still got like good pace, good tempo, but you get this upbeat pop-driven track. I mean, and I'd say more than maybe any other song on this record. This song is really just going at that pop element, and it reminded me of the sound that Empire of the Sun, that made them so big. It's really just got a great feel, and I dug it. Goat is your fifth song. Another cool bass and drum combination. Such a groove that this song settles in. The vocal hits and the drums build. And I like the way that the chorus remains light. There's, most of these songs, it's kind of a heavy hitter, but it's a cool contrast to some of the darker melodies that are worked there, and closes with the solo too. You get your A-side album closer. So there's not a whole lot of guitar soloing going on in this thing. If anything, you're just going to get riffs that carry tracks, but this one moment where you get some solo action and it works. It's a really nice way to end that A-side. Passengers is your sixth song. You get this light electric riff and more vocal to open. Dig the way that it starts off the B-side. Guitar becomes more prominent. The hook enters, you get this driving bass that complements, and I really just like the way that there's like this breakbeat element that carries this song that's fascinating. It's really nicely done. Big fan of that track. Hell of It is your seventh song. Great opening riff and vocal, a little punk, and you get this little, like, ravey combination. And there's a band, Refused. I don't know if any of you are into them at all. They are much heavier and I would say much more hardcore driven in their sound, but there's elements of this record that reminds me of Refused, as far as you get that lighter poppy kind of ravey element with heavier hard hitting components. And it's I have a feeling that these guys listen to that band, and I'm not going to sit here and compare this record to anything that Refused has done, but I just feel like in this particular track especially, you can feel that influence, and I think it's cool. Italian Horror is your eighth song. Funky bass and drums. Verses are carried by these two with very light, minimal instrumentation. And then you get lots of catchy oh-oh-ohs in the chorus with full instrumentation. They're not shy about using the oh-oh-ohs. It kind of makes me think of Fat Mike from NoFX and making fun of Offspring with "Woe on the Woes," but they don't overuse them, and they're catchy, and it's working on this particular record. I really dig your penultimate and ninth track, "Bird in a Cage." Get fuzzy synth, to open, ushers in the vocal element, drums hit with some psychedelic synth, and this is a lighter, playful song. Like, I really just like the way the vocal takes over in the pre-chorus. And for a moment leading into the chorus, like it's unexpected. You think you're going to get something that's more driven, capturing the energy that's really on full display in the first 8 tracks of this record, but they do something a little different with the song. And I think it comes at the perfect moment, obviously being the penultimate track. And then Algorithms, big lead. I think this song has been out for about a year now, actually, and it's interesting. Gentle guitar, get kind of like a jangle pop feel in that riff, pretty arpeggiated riff. And the vocals great, light, pretty acoustic guitar that enters. There's some synths that come in as well. The chorus explodes on this one with some O's, and I really just, talking about lyrical content, it's a lighthearted criticism of AI, and I like that. I like that that artists are talking about that. It's something that down the road here in the coming weeks, like probably try to do some live episodes just to sit down and kind of share a few things with you guys, because it's been a minute since I was with the channel. It's nice to be back in this last week, but there was a lot that did go down and did happen, and it's it'd be cool to talk about that and many other things. But this record, give it a spin. I think it's worth your time. I think it's a vinyl please for sure. On the 1 out of 10 scale, I'm gonna give this thing an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really strong effort, very concise. Its weakness may lie in that, but again, I always argue that with a hot effort, the nice thing about it is that you can always just keep flipping it over and enjoying it. So please do that with this record. I hope you dig it, and I hope you find this review helpful. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2024, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We'll see you next time on the Beat Sessions.